Certainly not on the level of the news from the team up north, but the Calgary Flames making a few headlines in the NHL today. So let's discuss one of the team's more exciting prospects starting the year with the big club. The Calgary Flames are going to be keeping a couple of their prospects hanging around for the start of the season as Gridin. Either way, your boy Gridin is staying up with the big club. That the news of the day. Sorry, there was a lot that was tweeted out trying to find the official stuff here. Of course, from our boy Pat Steinberg tweeting out that Matvei Gridin confirms he has made the team out of training camp. And so there was some frustration. I was on radio in Calgary last week when the Kerins, Solovyov, Prosvetov verdict came down after clearing waivers and not clearing waivers. And a lot of frustration around how all of that played out. This, I think, quiets it down a little bit because you have now an exciting young kid who, if it's just based off of training camp, earned an opportunity to break camp with this team. There's no question. There's an electricity to his game, and I think the biggest part is the shot that he has. There is an offensive upside that just not a lot else provides on this roster right now. So it makes sense for them to give this a go. They get some space freed up. Steinberg also tweeting out today that the club not expecting Jonathan Huberdeau nor Martin Pospisil to be ready for the season. Head coach Ryan Huska says the hope is that both are short-term situations. So that makes it a little bit easier. Now, I would suggest it maybe made it also easier to keep one Rory Kerins on the roster, which I think they still should have done, but they got away with it because the kid was able to pass through waivers. But this is an exciting prospect for the Flames. And one thing that this organization is looking for are guys who can help out offensively. Because this was a group that, even though they finished with the highest point total of any team to have never made to have not made the playoffs, they still finished 29th in goal scoring. So this kid, it does feel weird to say, oh, yeah, no, just, hey, kid who hasn't played a second of pro hockey, fix us. But there's just something different about him compared to some of the other pieces that this team has. So when you have a young player who has earned his way through camp, gotten better as camp has gone on, and he fits exactly what your team is needing, seems like a pretty obvious choice to me. So I think it makes sense. You look at the lines and how it broke out from camp today, or practice, I guess, training camp over, I guess, for the roster today. Gridin is on a line with Frost and Coronado. I find that really intriguing. It's different than what I would have done for a couple of reasons. We'll go more in depth on Flames preview tomorrow on the show, but I do like the idea, like Coronado and Gridin, that is a dangerous offensive pairing. Frost is a very high hockey IQ player that can spread the puck around very effectively. So I think the potential on that line is high. And I like that Gridin is getting thrown into the fire. Like, it's not just easing him in on the fourth line or whatever. They view him as a top six player. It's what they said with Kerins. They view him as a top six player. There is a top six role that is available. Go fill it. Go see what you can do. This is what this should be for the Flames. We'll talk about them in a bit, where expectations are or anything like that. But I think that this year is about trying to see where all the pieces fit, what you have in some of your young players as the organization continues to develop, and see where the process kind of lands you. So Gridin making the roster is a big part of that. With the injuries, Farabee is on a line with Kadri and Klapka. And the other noteworthy part of all of this is Sharangovich is on the fourth line with Lomberg and Kirkland. That is a part I don't love. Again, we'll get into this a little bit more tomorrow, but I thought there was a chemistry with Sharangovich and Frost. So I thought it made sense for those guys to stay together, because you do have an investment in Sharangovich, and he is not someone who you think would be effective in a fourth line role. He is not a guy who, if he's not scoring, well, he's doing the other little things to help the team win. That ain't him. He needs to be the scoring guy. So him down on the fourth line, it's practice. multiple days before opening night, so I'm not going to overreact to it, but that at least stood out to me. And then the other part that's jumping out to a lot of people is Perets would be in a spot where he wouldn't be playing on opening night, which I think would be a gigantic mistake for the Calgary Flames organization going forward. But we will see how it all plays out heading into the opener later on this week. What do you guys think? Was Gridin a no-brainer to make the roster? Should they still have kept Kerins up with the team? Let me know what you guys think in the chat if you're watching live, or in the comments after the all this gets posted.